All right, welcome to another episode of the Athletics Office. I'm your host, Brandon Weaver, with my co-host, Roma Cesar. And today we're joined by our new head volleyball coach, Will Ethridge. Will, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here today.
Yeah, so tell us about, who you are, your background in coaching. Got a long list of experiences in coaching. So just kind of tell us about who you are and what you've done in coaching.
Oh, yeah, I just got into volleyball way back in the college days. Just started playing and then got around some high-level volleyball players and figured out that I really didn't know a lot about it. So kind of became a gym rat and picked up coaching when I started to learn enough about it. And then from there, it just kind of snowballed. And took the job at Edmond Santa Fe in 1993. And, and then I've been doing club volleyball for a long, long time, too. So, yeah, it's been a big part of my life and my family's life.
Yeah.
So.
Now, how many state championships do you have?
We were able to get 7 when we were at Santa Fe there.
And then how many runner-ups?
6.
Quite a few.
Yeah.
So about almost half your coaching experience, you got one of those two, huh?
Yeah, we were I was very blessed there. Had a lot of good talent and good people around me, and we were a very successful program for a lot of years.
Yeah. So tell me about how you're involved with Peak, how all that kind of got started, and kind of what that has looked like as well.
Yeah, Peak was a group. You know several of the guys. A group of great gentlemen, good Christian men who wanted to not only invest in the future of volleyball for the youth, but just also raise the standard up a little bit on how we influenced them as far as character and faith and not that we pushed it, but made sure that they knew that was what we were about, and that we wanted to guide kids and help them not only become great volleyball players, but to become better people in this world.
Yeah.
So it's been awesome.
Now, what year did that start?
2005.
Okay. And then now there's a new facility, right, that's been built. And how old is that?
We're just now at a year.
Wow.
It's been open a year. I think we opened like January 15th last year. So we're just barely over a year. It's right by Remington Park.
Yeah.
New facility. Boom box is right there with it. It's pretty cool if you've never been out there. It's an awesome facility. We're excited to have it.
How many courts total?
Indoor courts that we use, we have 10 indoor courts.
Okay.
10 indoor courts in the facility. And then the boombox side of it, which is kind of separate from us, but very much together too. I think they have 8 indoor sand courts and another 6 outdoor sand courts.
Oh, wow.
So,
nice. Okay. I don't think I realized that. So talk about who has influenced your coaching philosophy over all the years. Like how did you grow as a coach and become kind of who you are as a coach today?
Probably that group of guys, mostly that we talked about, that are the board members at Oklahoma Peak, Greg Dewey and a whole bunch of those guys. They just we all invested into each other, and a lot of them brought in some amazing amount of volleyball knowledge, and I think we just kind of grew from that. Of course, through the years in high school, I was a part of an awful lot of really helpful high school coaches, taught me the ropes, how to do it. Athletic directors I had through the years. Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of people that really influenced it, but probably that group of guys at Peak probably influenced the coaching and the putting the character piece into it. That was probably most influential there.
Yeah. Well, we've been blessed by having Greg on staff here many years ago. Mark Herron was the head coach here, and so thankful for their work here at OCS Volleyball. And
Mark's back in town now, so he's back with Peak. He and Dewey and Bill Hammeter and a lot of those guys, Edgar Maracu and Jeff Boylan. They're Lisa Polkovich. It's a good group to work with.
Yeah, I was at Memorial when Edgar was there, which now he's at UCO.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Coach there. So yeah. So I know now, and you retired from teaching, but getting back into coaching. But you help your dad farm.
Yep.
So I think one of the things that we want to give time to is just talk about kind of the influence of your parents, because a lot of times for us as coaches, I feel like that kind of sets the foundation for us, right? And the way we were parented, whether they really helped us in our sport or not, just kind of our personalities and the way that we go about leadership. So just kind of talk about your parents' influence in your life and how that showed up in coaching.
Oh, I was just very fortunate. I had a great family life. I'm not saying we were overly blessed as far as how much we have, but a great foundation. And I grew up in especially my mom's side, a family of educators, so lots of teachers and coaches through the years there.
Yeah.
So that influence was there when I got to college, not really knowing what I wanted to do. That was kind of a draw, saying, you should go this route. You'd be a great teacher and coach, and so I kind of kept following that path, and sister's a teacher, so there's a lot of them in there, and I love my years teaching. But as far as the family influence, families are still really tight. That's why I'm still here, even though my kids have scattered at times and came back. My own family just kind of is a part of me that I want to stay close to if I can.
Yeah.
So.
Now, how many grandkids are you up to now?
3 now, as of a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
3 grandkids, and I've got 3 daughters, and then the 3 grandkids. So yeah, it's an exciting time in our house.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And they moved to Texas, so that's a little bit closer than they were in Florida.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so you want to take the next one?
Yeah. What do you love most about coaching, and what keeps you in it?
Or brings you back?
Yeah, or brings you back. What brought you back?
Coaching club, coaching high school, they were always, I loved them both, but they were very different. And I think similar, but very different. But I loved coaching high school, and I was excited I always thought through the years at Edmond Santa Fe, I saw OCS and was around OCS and several of the coaches previous. Rachel and I are good friends, and then, like Mark Hare and stuff. And I thought, man, if the timing was ever right and that job was open, I'm going to at least throw my name in the hat and take a look at it.
Yeah.
I got out of teaching a little bit, I'd done it a long time, I think 35 years, and I felt like it was time, and I actually wasn't sure if I needed a younger person in there to do the coaching, because it's a little hard. We go hard as coaches. You guys know that.
Yeah.
But then after being out a few years, I was going, I could still do this. I think I can. I want to try it again. Yeah. So just the opportunity to be here was, did I miss the question there?
No, you're good.
What do you love about coaching?
Oh, what I love about coaching. There you go. I knew there was something I missed. The biggest thing, hands down, is just relationship with the kids.
Yeah.
For me, it's just getting to know them, getting them to buy into your systems and buy into your beliefs, and getting them to work hard for a common goal and doing it the right way. I just think that's really important. And I think that is turned out to be one of my strengths, is my team's not always the best, but they're always playing hard for each other, for their school, for their coaches, and we managed to develop that, and it's a lot of fun.
For a younger coach, how do you get your players to play hard for you?
I think being honest with kids is a big thing too. Not only, they need to know you care, that you care about them, and I'm not just talking about whether they are on the floor helping you win games or not, but that you care about them as a person, and they need to know that, and then they're ready to go, and they're ready to work hard for you, and whatever the role is called for to do. I think it's very important to be very good communicators with them throughout that process. If you don't do that, it can cause sometimes some problems when it comes to, anytime you're dealing with playtime, or you're dealing with the little things that come with the program, the better communicators you are, the better planned you are and organized with the parents, the players, the whole program, just the better things typically go. Yeah. So focusing on those pieces as a new coach is very important. Most new coaches, if they don't know the X's and O's, they're going to figure those out. Yeah. Most of them. It's the other stuff that sometimes can be a little harder.
Right. Yep. One of the things that we ask our coaches is, what do you love most about coaching at OCS? Obviously, you're just kind of starting out here. What are you most looking forward to about coaching at OCS?
Well, I think, that's a good question. I'm excited about just the type of kids that I know are here. That they all are here. They really want to be here, and I think I think it's an opportunity for me to expand a little bit as far as challenging me in a way maybe that I wasn't really able to at a public school, as far as your faith and investing in people in a little bit different direction than we were able to as much at a public school. Yeah. But a great group of girls. I mean, there's great athletes, great girls everywhere. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that at all. But I know a lot of OCS kids, and have through the years, and just great kids, and I'm excited to get a chance to work with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you coached any other sports?
I did. I had about 3 years of coaching tennis at Edmond Santa Fe back in the early 2000s because I was former, well, sort of a tennis player, but enjoyed that too. It just was hard to do with all the volleyball I do.
Yeah.
How on the flip side of that, how did that help you being involved in another program? Like, were you an assistant as a tennis coach?
No, I was the head boys and girls
you're the
tennis
head-
there.
oh,
at
wow,
Santa Fe.
doing all of
Yeah.
it.
Doing both.
For a couple of years. Well, I don't want to come off sounding bad, but I love doing it, love the kids, but it's a different atmosphere when you're talking. For me, I felt like it was a different atmosphere between volleyball and, when I started the program there, I was able to set it up and do it the way I wanted all the way through, so there was never any gray area. But then when you jumped into a spring sport, which some of you know, there's a lot of distractions in the spring. And a lot of kids trying to do lots of multiple things.
Yeah.
It's tough. And I wasn't able to quite get it as rigid as I was able to in volleyball, and that was kind of hard to deal with.
Yeah.
When I think it's just tough. You coach a spring sport. There's a lot of things going on at that time, and I'm not saying those kids aren't dedicated because they 100% are. But I don't know about here, but you got back then in Edmond, you'd have a lot of kids trying to do maybe baseball and track or track and soccer or something, and it was a little harder in volleyball. I had them volleyball, and there wasn't much distraction, it was pretty clear.
Yeah, I mean, I think if nothing else, coaches that are listening to this can think about, whatever sport you're in, kind of, I don't know if you want to call it the commitment level, but it looks different. I mean, I know over the years, as I've talked to my tennis coaches, it's, hey, we're going to just practice 3 or 4 days a week because when I try to push 5, there's, the other, or they're going to go to their own hitting coach, right? And some of those things. And so each sport looks a little bit different as to what that looks like. So.
Yeah, because like in tennis, I knew some tennis, but they all had coaches that knew a lot more than I did. So I was just being a really good organizer and really, helping the ones that needed and wanted my help, but trying to be flexible enough to the ones that had some other avenues, you say.
Absolutely. Well, and even just from a athletics landscape, a lot of times you'll find that in tennis or maybe a golf, not necessarily here at OCS, but where you're trying to find someone who's kind of a sponsor of that program, right? The school liaison, but they may go to somebody else who has kind of the coaching knowledge and things like that. Right. So talk about what has changed in your time in coaching from the time you started. You say 93?
93 for high school.
Yeah.
A little bit before that, coaching club. Yeah.
So, what has changed from 93 to 2026?
If you're talking about the kids and the athletes and the way they do things, I really don't think a lot. I don't, I hear teachers and talk about how everything has changed, but sure it changes a little bit, but, kids are kids, and it hadn't seemed that much different to me. Now, I think I've changed quite a bit through the years as far as my coaching. I think we talked about this in my interview about, when you've gone through some of the things that I have when it comes to like 15, 20 years ago when I had a player of mine die. Heather Harkness was a player of mine and died on the operating table, and trying to navigate through that as a team. You're thankful that the Lord is leading you through that, because those type of things are tough. But that changes you as a coach. It makes you realize that maybe when I was younger, if you probably talked to a lot of my players way back in those early days, they might not have as many good things to say about me as the ones do in the recent years. Yeah. We were successful, we won, but the coach probably was more concerned then about only winning and not really concerned about always doing what needs to be done and the relationship with the kids. So that was a big change for me, and a couple other big events similar to that through the years. When you have players who lost a parent when they're under your guidance, that can be challenging and change you as a coach, and hopefully for the better.
Yeah. Kind of changes your perspective, right? Puts the focus on something else. Yeah. What about just the game of volleyball? How has that evolved or changed over time, or is it pretty much the same?
Oh, it's changed a lot. Yeah, it's changed a lot. It's changed a lot in the level of play, but even the rules and things itself since we started back in 93 in high school. It's crazy some of the changes that have came about. If you're familiar with volleyball, the liberos came in sometime in the early 2000s that you never saw back in the day. Back we started, it was we call old school scoring, where points only scored when you're serving, and now it's scored every time. Lots of little things that as a volleyball person, that there's lots of changes, and then just the overall level of athletes we get into high school volleyball now is, I think we maybe in '93s in the early '90s we were getting sometimes some leftovers at times. Now, not Santa Fe, we didn't, but some people were, and they were trying to develop programs with maybe the kids that weren't playing basketball or weren't running track or something. But now it's such an appeal that we're at least at an even field on the number of kids that get good athletes in there now that love the game. So.
Yeah. So the next question is, what advice would you give coaches who are just starting out in the profession? But as part of that, kind of talk about the training that you all give in your club, as far as the coaches who are involved there, and I feel like that's something that volleyball does a better job of, and maybe it's by club. I'm not quite sure how it works, but the training and the development that they go into it, because it's not like that in every sport across the nation. So.
Yeah, it's still even tough. It's just probably no different than your sports. When things get rolling, it's hard to find time to do that training. You try to go to clinics and do things like that, and we try to offer up some training opportunities within the club. But we also in high school would try to go to clinics, and there's plenty of things you can go to become professional. But the biggest thing, really, my advice to the younger coaches is, just be that gym rat. To be that person that not afraid to ask, because I think most coaches in every sport are very open to being helpful, but I think especially in volleyball, especially in high school volleyball. High school volleyball coaches, it's not like I've got something good, I'm going to keep it a secret. Mm-hmm. It is, I've got something good. If you are not too prideful and you're willing to ask, we're willing to help and give you some assistance. I mean, I think it's just a matter of being open to learn and never quitting being open to learn. Just because I've been doing this as long as I've been doing it, I am always looking to learn more and different ways and better ways to do things. Mm-hmm. So I think that's important. Be open to learn. Don't be afraid to ask. Take advantage of those opportunities to pick the brains of people that have done it for years.
Yeah. What advice would you give parents whose kids are in athletics or in volleyball?
That's a broad one, isn't it? Yeah, my advice probably not much different than most of you would give. I know, and even there's a lot of parents out there who might even have a volleyball background, or in your case have a baseball background, or in your case a basketball background. But let the coaches do that part of it, and you be their biggest supporter and their biggest fan, and support them and support the program. It's just so easy in this day and age of me to be worried about specifically, my kid and what my kid's getting to do, that you just got to trust the people up there that there's a reason we're doing the things we are, and we know what we're doing, and encourage your kids to be ready if they're not the one on the floor all the time, and be ready and work hard. But the biggest thing is probably just being positive. I definitely, even when my kids and two of my three played a lot of volleyball, I tried to take a back seat and not do much coaching then. I tried to just be a supporter of them, because they're getting plenty of that now. I wanted to be open if they ever said, "Hey, Dad, come help me," but I didn't want to force them into the gym for extra time. I didn't think that was the right thing to do. So just trying to be their biggest supporters, and that's probably my advice.
Well, didn't you coached all of your daughters, right?
Two for sure. One maybe a tiny bit. She mainly went a different direction to Palm and stuff, but two of them for a lot. The oldest and the youngest, both I won championships with them as sophomores their sophomore year, so that was pretty cool.
How was that dynamic of being dad, being coach?
Yeah, all of you that have done that before, that's a fun one.
Give us the advice right now.
Yeah. One was quite challenging, just not more any reason than she was just one of those that was a little hard to get focused in sometimes. And the other one was a little more locked in and probably compartmentalized a little bit. But I think the advice is the same. It's the same. You can coach them as hard as you want in the gym during the time, but you got to put it behind you. And even though you normally take your sport home with you, you got to try not to when it's your own kid with you. Yeah. I think you got to even if they didn't have a good practice or you weren't happy with them, once the door closed and you were heading home, that that doesn't exist anymore.
I think you make them walk home, right? They have that practice. Walk home. Mom can come pick you up, right?
Yeah.
How it goes?
I don't recommend that. Mom will not like that.
What about how was that kind of balancing? Oh well, they're only playing because their dad's the coach versus being too hard on them. You know, I mean, kind of did that all kind of work itself out, and just the group that they were with, it worked out, or how was that?
Oh, you're good at this. Those are tough too. I think for me, I erred on the side of being too overly strict, or not strict, it's not the word I'm looking for, but basically I felt like I had to make sure that my kid was 100% deserving of being out there in order for me to make it happen. They got less of a fair shake than some other kids did in that case because I was somewhat under the microscope, which probably kept one of my kids from playing varsity for her freshman year when maybe she should have been, but it was close enough call that I probably was going to make her be a little bit better to make it happen. That's a tough one. It's a tough one as a coach, and we've all seen coaches go the other direction there, But for me, it was I erred on the side of making 100% sure that they were the one earning that spot.
Yeah. Right. Well, I've got an 8th grade son, and so I'm going to be kind of dealing with that over the next few years, and I've kind of done the same thing. It's probably a lot of times he may be good enough to play, but we're not playing him as much. Just he's got to go earn it even more so than anybody else. And is that fair? I don't know really what fair is in that situation, right? And then I've got 4 other kids coming up. Of course, 3 of them are girls, and I'm not coaching girls right now, other than youth league.
Yeah.
But ready to give that up. Ready to no.
Pass the reins.
It is tough though. That's a tough call. People that don't understand how. They think that that's great for the kid to have mom or dad as a coach, but it's probably not the greatest for the kid to have mom or dad as the coach. It's just as hard on them as it is on us, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. What advice would you give your players? Let's talk about the ones that want to go play at the next level, okay? So let's say even a middle school kid comes and talks to you and says, hey, I want to go play at the next level. What advice and direction would you give them?
Yeah, that's a pretty big open-ended one too. There's a lot of the process is huge, and it's a lot of work. And obviously, if you're the elite of the elite in any sport, it's going to come to you. But most of us didn't fall in that. Most of us fell in the line of where I got to reach out and I got to narrow the field. I got to figure out the places I want to go to or I would like to go to that meet my academic interests, that meet my geographical interest on where I want to go. And then as you get closer to that process, there's so many things, you're getting ready to do life with these people for 4 years. You don't want to put yourself in a bad situation. So you got to do your homework there and talk to former players. I mean, there's a whole checklist a mile long that we really don't have enough time to go through, but that is something that we do at Peak a lot. There's not a lot of recruiting that goes on, at least in high school volleyball, because college volleyball is the same season. So unless maybe it's a local college, they could maybe make it out to some matches and visit some practices, but most of it would be in club for volleyball because of the seasons matching up at the same time.
How do you direct them on just I've seen kids go through, in different sports, go through a club or AAU environment, and they were all in on that sport regardless, and then they do get that dream of going to the next level. And then I've seen kids who have been in those environments, and they get kind of burned out at a certain point, usually in high school, towards the end of their high school career. How do you guide and direct both parents and players on balancing that? And it's probably different for each kid, right? Each kid, is kind of got to be able to calibrate what how much they can do and all those things. But how do you talk to kids about that? You may have seen it too, where I've coached basketball players here, and they just want to be in the gym all year round, and they could do it. I mean, one of them's a manager at OSU right now on the basketball team, and he just loves basketball. He wants to coach basketball, those things. And then I've got a kid who's playing Division I basketball right now. Came to me before his junior year, like, man, I'm just so tired of basketball. That's all I've been doing, and I haven't really gotten a break from it and everything. How do you give guidance to those kids who are coming up?
Yeah, I mean, it is a challenge in any sport, the burnout and
Yeah.
stuff like that. We for sure see it in volleyball because those kids, not only do they play high school, follow right into playing club, taking lessons in between there, just all kinds of, maybe even try to throw in a little beach volleyball in there and during the small gap in the summer and college visits. It is a challenge, and I think as a coach and as a parent, you just got to be real cautious of the burnout.
Yeah.
And truth be known, probably like any other sport, when you're talking about moving on to play the next level, is you can be really good and collegiate level type player at some level and still decide that may not be what I want to do, because a lot of times your academic and school interests don't match up with your volleyball interest or your basketball interest or whatever sport. Both of my daughters that played both could have easily gone on to play college volleyball, but they kind of wanted the big college experience. So both of them hung it up after high school as far as playing. But both of them still went on to coach some more, and it's still been a big part of their lives. But as far as that advice there is just be aware of it. Don't force it on them. And you feel like you need a break, you better figure out some way to take a break. Because last thing you want to do is something other than not being good enough to cause the problem for you not to go on to play. I mean, because there's a lot of places for people to play if they can find the right fit. Most of your kids that play high level varsity or club are good enough to go play somewhere. There's a lot of schools that have volleyball for sure.
Yeah. Excuse me. Well, we appreciate you joining us today and looking forward to the start of your career here at OCS and getting that going and everything. About to order some new uniforms.
Yeah,
right? Next year.
We got all kinds of things going on. my head's kind of spinning, but I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, it's still January,
I know
told me
it.
you got months before, but
I know it.
I'm much to do.
I'm trying not to bug you guys all the time because I
fine.
know you guys are getting after it, but I got a million questions. But I'm really looking forward to it.
Good.
I'm excited.
Good.
So
Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, send those to theathleticsoffice@gmail.com. Thanks for joining us today.